Howdy, lieutenants and economists.
The most volatile, evil, disgusting things on the planet, humans. If you have a video request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, I am gonna charge you, kids. And that is the importance of not fucking up.
You are such an asshole!
Asshole Consulting, how you guys doing? Got a pretty cool question here. People should it's like getting a checkup. This is like a financial checkup. Hello, Captain. I'll cut the crap and get straight to it. I'm 44 years old. I spent my youth pissing around traveling the world before I retrained and got a career in my 30s. I mean, you had fun and enjoyed life? So I have some financial ground to catch up. I'm making £22.50 net per month and have a mortgage of 24 years to run with monthly payments of approximately £600. And for those of you in the American audience, multiply by 1.2, I believe, is the exchange rate. I remember, I could have swore the pound's like at $1.8, but a little bit less now. No other debts or significant obligations with a modest occupational pension building up. All right, so you got a pension on top of it. I'm relatively frugal and try to save about $500 a month to build up a nest egg, which is about $4,000 at the present. I have recently heard of an online movement called Financial Independence Retire Early. It suggests that people can retire early with a decent standard of living purely through frugality and hardcore saving. The message is attractive to me, but am I being naive in accepting its claims? I'm frugal but not a hardcore minimalist, so is FIRE a realistic proposition for people in my position, or is it promising more than I could deliver without excessive sacrifice? I'm making my payment, I said, okay, well, that depends what you mean by sacrifice. I'll explain FIRE, early retirement extreme, Mr. Money Mustache, Poor Richard's retirement. The main reason that works is not necessarily, in part, but not necessarily because you're spending so little early on that you have money to throw away and invest and save. It's not an issue of saving up enough. It's that you need so little to save because you're practicing frugality and minimalism. So it gets a 1-2 punch. The first punch is you have money early and you invest it and you save it, which has time to grow. The second, but I'd claim more major punch, is that you don't need that much money. If you're your standard trophy wife soccer mom and you need your Range Rover SUV and you have to be in a good school and you have, retirement is almost impossible. Almost impossible. For modern day materialists. It is. But if you're a minimalist, it's almost not impossible. It's almost mandatorily possible that you can retire because you just don't need that much in the future. So I want to know, okay, well, what is frugal to you? And so he goes through, I won't go through all the details, but he's netting a surplus of £500 per month. And so I threw that in a little spreadsheet here, and I assumed an 8% rate of return, and this does not assume your pension, this does not assume anything else. It's just like, okay, how much money are you going to have saved up? And by the time you're 65, you'll have about £365,000. By the time you're 70, you'll have £572,000. Now, your house will also be paid off, so you only pay taxes or whatever else. The short answer is yes, you can retire, but it's not going to be early. You could have, in other words, a very normal, functional, and comfortable retirement. There's no doubt about that. But because you're starting so late in the game, someone, like if you didn't goof around and have fun and live life, you just worked really hard, you would have started at 22 instead of 44. And now, these 20 or 30 years, you'd be looking at potentially retiring now. So in a certain sense, you are going to retire early, but that's because you're just starting now to save up for retirement. People in your situation, which is the vast majority of Westerners, they're starting now to get serious. Time to get serious about retirement. But they're not going to change their spending. They have debts. A lot of them still have student loans. A lot of them have mortgages and McMansions and car loans and all that other shit. And they're not going to retire. They're just not. They're going to work till they're dead. You, however, are frugal. I wouldn't say you're pushing minimalism, but I don't go the extreme minimalism. I mean, I know guys that live in convents with other minimalists, and they don't have cars, and they ride the bus, and they're shivering in the cold, and they only eat, the processed food you were talking about. I'm with you. I'm like, oh no, I'm eating good food. I'm eating good healthy food because it will stave off medical bills down the road. So it almost pays you to eat healthy and good food. But doing the math here, you're more than able to do that where you're squirreling away 6,000 pounds a year, assuming an 8% rate of return, which is average. But you keep in mind, you're going to work till you're 65 or 70. That's just what's going to happen. You then throw in your pension, you throw in whatever social pension the British government's going to pay you. You're well on your way, and then you're not going to outlast your money because you're a minimalist. Your budget is very low. So I'm not worried at all about you. But keep in mind when I say it is possible for you to retire early, I'm not talking an objective age. I'm talking from the time you start saving to the time you retire, which will be about 20 to 25 years, depending on when you want to retire. Yeah, you can retire early. Problem is you wait till you were 44 to start squirreling away money. So yes, you are going to retire early, but no, it won't be when you're young. It'll be when you're traditional retirement age between 65 and 70. There was something else. What was the other question? Yeah. So it is, and your math is correct too. Now there's basically 2 books, but 3 entities, where the math varies, but it's all kind of the same. There's Early Retirement Extreme. You might want to pick that up, but you got to convert it into pounds because it's a U.S. book. There's Mr. Money Mustache. He's kind of the same philosophy, and then there's me and my book, Poor Richard's Retirement. Again, you have to switch it to dollars. On a truly minimal level, you'll need $250,000 to retire at the age of 65, assuming you live to 85. And that's true. That's bare bones. You're going to have more than twice that by the time you're 65. Or, I'm sorry, by the time you're 70. So it is possible. If you're looking for some numbers, it might be worth dropping a couple pounds. Either get Early Retirement Extreme or Poor Richard's Retirement to kind of see it. My book focuses more on, there's numbers in it. Whereas Early Retirement Extremes is very numerical. It's all formulae. Mine is more philosophy, because you can have all the philosophy, you can have all the formula in the world, but you need the philosophy and the understanding to incentivize you to adhere to minimalism. That's not a problem for you, I don't think, but if you're kind of curious about the numbers, you can take a look at those books. But as long as you're investing the money, diversified portfolio, blah, 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 and you hold it long term, and you're going to be in the clear, assuming no major financial crisis or the British government doesn't have a wealth tax. You have too much. We're going to give it to this schlep who just came overseas. Because we love diversity so much. Fuck the natives. I need their vote. You're good to go. All right, questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. We'll see you all later. Tools.